In this session, we will be learning about the basics of C. Without any delay, let's get into it. First of all, why you need a C programming language? If you want to interact with a computer, then you need a programming language. What is programming or what is computer programming? It is the process of designing and building a computer program to accomplish a computing result or to perform a specific task. In simple terms, if you want to achieve a result for your task, you need to write a program or you need to design a program. What is an operating system? It is a group of computer programs and other software that lets people interact with the computer. It manages computer hardware and software resources, and it also provides common services for computer programs. What is C programming language? There was an operating system called Unix. In order to do system programming in that Unix operating system, we need a programming language. So that's why C programming language was invented to interact with the computer using the operating system Unix. And it is an imperative programming language, which is a base language to learn further programming or to learn the main concept of programming and learn further specializations related to the programming. This is the block diagram of computer. If you want to understand the working principle of a programming, then you need to know how a computer works. For input, you will be getting a desired output, and in the middle, you will be having processing unit, central processing unit, which contains control unit, arithmetic logic unit, and memory unit. And I hope everyone knows it. Computer languages. There are three types of languages: low level, middle level, and high level. Low level language is a machine language, middle level is an assembly language. Low level language contains zeros and ones. It is a binary language where computer can only understand it. Middle level language is an assembly language. We use mnemonics to create instructions or to create a program. Mnemonics are nothing but some patterns. And high level language, which is similar to human level language. The best example of high level languages: C, C++, Java, etc. And how can we use this high level language? How can a computer understand this high level language? As you know that high level language is easy for programmer to understand and it contains English words. And machine code, which is computer's own language, and it contains all binary numbers, zeros and ones. So how can a machine understand a high level language? Simple, if you have a translator. We write a translator program so that the high level language is converted into a machine level language so that the machine can understand it. And you can see first generation and second generation comes under low level language, and third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation. From third generation, it is all about high level languages. And another flowchart, you can check: low level language consists of machine language and assembly language. And C is sometimes called as a middle level language and sometimes it is called as a high level language. You can fix it to a high level language. And the best example for high level languages are COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, Java, .NET, etc. Language processors. As I said, translator is important so that machine can understand your program and gives an output. There are three types of translators: assembler, compiler, and interpreter. What does this assembler do? It converts computer instructions into binary digits or binary format. And compiler, it converts the human language, the high level language, to a lower level language, where machine can understand this lower level language. And interpreter, which has some great performance, it converts the high level language into a lower level language, assembly language, and binary language. Let us look into it. What is a compiler? Compiler is a program that translates a source code written in some programming language into a machine code. And you all know that in C we use a compiler. What is an interpreter? It's almost same to compiler, but you must know the difference. Compiler will convert a program into machine code as a whole, whereas interpreter converts a program into machine code one statement at one time. Or in simple terms, if there is a program, then the whole program gets converted into a machine code in compiler. Whereas an interpreter, statement by statement, the first line converts into a machine code, and then the second line converts into a machine code, and it checks for it, and then the third line converts into machine code and it checks for it, etc. And also compiler creates object code file, whereas interpreter does not create any object code file. And if you talk about program execution, obviously compiler program execution is fast because it converts the machine code as a whole, right? And whereas interpreter execution is slow because every time we want to run a program, it is interpreted again and again. What is C language? C is a general purpose computer programming language, and it is also said to be a structured programming language or a function oriented language. And finally, C is a high level programming language. Why do we use C? Simple, to create applications or software. And as I said earlier, it was developed to create an operating system, Unix. To interact with a computer, there was an operating system, Unix, and inside that Unix, you need to write programs that was written in C. The popular software like Linux OS, PHP, MySQL are created using C language. Why do we use C? Again, generally C language is used to create the following: operating systems, language compilers, assemblers, interpreters, text editors. The best example for text editor is like Notepad, Notepad++, etc. Network drivers, databases, which consist of data tables, etc. And you can see Dennis Ritchie, the man who invented the C. Here comes the history of C language. I'll be not talking about this too much, just we'll learn who is he. C language was developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972, and you can check the profession of it: computer scientist, place, etc., awards. And Ken Thompson. CPL. Earlier it was Common Programming Language, invented by Martin Richards in 1960s, and it was again renamed as BCPL, Basic Combined Programming Language, and it is also done by Martin Richards. And again Ken Thompson has renamed it as a B language by Ken Thompson as well as Dennis Ritchie, and traditionally it is called as a C by Dennis Ritchie in 1972. And we have different things: K and RC, ANSI C, ANSI ISO-C, etc. So why this C language has become very popular? Simple, it is one of the early programming language. And still, the best programming language to learn quickly is C programming language. And many terms, it is reliable, simple, easy to use, etc. And it is a structured language. Also, some modern programming concepts are based on C. And you can check out the advantages and disadvantages of C. I'll be not talking about disadvantages because you may feel bored, but the advantages are: C is the basic building block for many other programming languages, and programs are highly portable, which are written in C, and we use several standard functions, built-in functions that are used to develop programs. And the C programs are collections of many C library functions, and it's also easy to add functions to the C library. And the modular structure makes code debugging, maintenance, testing easier, etc. We will be learning about code debugging, maintenance in the further sessions. Basics of C programming. C is a structured programming language. So every instruction in a C program must follow some predefined structure or a syntax. Syntax is nothing but the rule given for a program or the rule given for a language. For different languages, we will be having different syntaxes, and in this sessions, we will be learning the C syntax. Also, C is known as a function-oriented programming, where we use bunch of functions to execute a program, where we can use user-defined functions, where we can write our own code to execute a task. Documentation. It is used, you can check the first part, the documentation, and second, we will be having some pre-processing statements. After that, the declarations, global declarations, and this is the main method, the method which you will write to accomplish your task, and finally some user-defined implementations. General structure of C program, let us look on to it more. Pre-processing statements. It is used to link the header files, define the constants, etc. And every pre-process statement starts with hash. Remember, every pre-processing statement starts with hash, and it tells what is the use of this pre-process statement. Simple, tells the compiler to perform required pre-processing before the actual compilation. Basically, when you compile, you will be getting an output before, but what actually happens inside it is, before compilation, we will be writing the preprocessor statement. So this preprocessor statement will tell the compiler that to perform required preprocessing before the actual compilation. So examples, hash include, hash define, hash undef, hash if def, etc. And global declaration, the name itself global, which is meant to the whole program which you write, and declaration, declaring a variable globally. This part is used to declare the variables which are common for multiple methods. So you can declare a variable so that it will be common for multiple methods. And we can declare enumeration, structure, unions, etc. We'll be learning it. And it is an optional part. According to our requirement, we can write. And the main method. This is very important. The main method is the compulsory part for any C program. You might forget anything, but you must not forget writing this main method. As I said, C is a functional oriented program, so it must have at least one function, one main function to execute the program. And main is a user defined method which specifies the starting point of the program execution. And remember, every C program execution starts with main method and ends with main method itself. As I said, the general structure of a C program. User-defined methods. What are these user-defined methods? You can implement them before or after the method. Okay. After the main, then it must be declared either inside or before the main method. If it's implemented before the main, then the declaration can be ignored. And you can check a simple program to print hello world. First contains hash include stdio.h, which is the pre-processing statement, and the main method. I have used void main. Void is a return type, and printf. Printf, if you want to print the desired output, you can use the printf. And remember, the printf statement must end with semicolon. And you can check that the main method has some block using flower braces. And the last part, uh, every C program must contain exact one main method and it must end with semicolon, as I said. All the system defined words must be in lowercase letters. And you can tell that C programming language is case sensitive. Open brace, if you write some open brace, then there must be a closing brace. The variables must be declared in the declaration section before they are used. And how a C program works, you can check it. First, the source code, the code which you have written. Okay, the preprocessor, which has the library functions, expand your code, and the compiler will check your code or will compile your code, and it will convert it into an assembly code. As I said, assembly code which contains mnemonics. It's like a pattern. And this assembler code, there will be a linker. Linker contains libraries and other object files. Or you can say the code now is being called as a object code. And this object code using this linker gets converted into an executable code. Okay. The C preprocessor is a macro processor that is used automatically by the C compiler to transform your program before actual compilation. And what is C character set? It is a collection of characters supported in C programming language. It has a rich set of characters which are used to construct C program instructions. What does this character set contains actually? Alphabets. Alphabets in the sense you will be having uppercase, lowercase letters as well. All alphabets and digits, supporting from 0 to 9, 10 digits. Okay. And ASCII values, which are very important. You can check that for different characters you have different ASCII values, and you can check the control characters and the printable characters. If you want to print A, then you can't directly get A, you will be getting the ASCII value for it. Okay. And for B66 and for small letters there are different ASCII values. In C programming language, the character set follow ASCII. ASCII in the sense American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Code text format. Every character in C has the respective ASCII value which is used to convert a character into a binary language. So as I said, if you write A, then the computer cannot understand it. You need to convert it. So it will be converted into a number. That number is an ASCII value. And let us look into the data types in C. Basically, there are three data types: primitive, derived, and user defined. Primitive data types are integer, character, float, double, void. Derived are array, pointer, function, and user defined structure, union, and enumeration. By the completion of this C programming, you will be learning all of them. Okay. Let us learn about what are bits and what are bytes, how the memory is allocated here. Okay. Basically, we have two things, two binary digits, 0 and 1. And you know that computer language is nothing but having zeros and ones. You need to know what is 1 byte. 1 byte is nothing but 8 bits, and kilobyte is 1024 bytes. Megabyte is 1024 kilobytes. Gigabyte is 1024 megabyte. Terabyte is 1024 gigabyte. Okay, some small conversions which you need to know. And as I said, there are data types like int, long, double, and you have further like char, unsigned char. Signed are nothing but specific sign for it, positive or negative. Okay, unsigned is nothing but having no signs. And size in bits. You need to know it. For integer, it is 32-bit. For long, it is 32-bit. For integer and for long, it is 32-bit. For float, also it is 32-bit. And for double, in the name itself double, you will be having 64-bit, which is the double of 32. And for character, it is 8-bit. Okay, and you have further like unsigned char 8-bit, signed char 8-bit, etc. And what is this range of values? So how you will be getting this range of values? Simple, using this formula. Nothing but the range of allowed values for this data type. Okay, range of values are nothing but minus 2 power n minus 1 to 2 power n minus 1 minus 1. Okay, the formula is minus 2 power n minus 1 to 2 power n minus 1 minus 1, and this n represent your bit size. You need not remember this, just simply you can apply this bit size in the place of n, and you'll be getting the range of values. And this is a simpler form where you can remember it in a simplest manner. This is given in bytes. Okay, as I said, 1 byte is 8 bits, and I have written this in bytes. For int, it is 2 bytes. For long int, it is 4 bytes. For float, it is 4 bytes. For double, it is 8 bytes. And for character, it is 1 byte. Remember, character is 1 byte. Character is a single letter, and the memory allocated to it is 1 byte, and etc. Void is meaningless. As you know that void doesn't contain anything, then it is a meaningless part. And enum is 2 bytes. We'll be learning about enum in the further sessions. And tokens. What are C tokens? There are different tokens: keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, special symbols, operators. Let us learn it. Keywords are nothing but int, integer, float, okay, while, etc. The keywords which we use, right? Identifier are nothing but main, CLR, SCR, get, etc. We'll be learning about them also. Constants, as you know that constants are the constant numbers, 20 or negative numbers, minus 15.5, etc. Strings, remember, character is different, string is different. Character contains single letter or single alphabet, whereas string is a set of characters. Okay, and strings are represented using double quotes and characters using single quotes. And you have special symbols like brackets, different kinds of brackets: square brackets, flower brackets, and bracelets. Okay, operators, simple operators: plus, minus, star, mod, this is modulo, and division, etc. There are reserved keywords in C language, 32 reserved keywords. You can check them. Remember, this is very important. There are 32 reserved keywords in C, like auto, double, int, struct, break, else, long, switch, case, continue, go to. Each and every keyword will get familiar to you by the end of this C programming sessions. Do, if, static, while, etc. Okay. And what are the constants? Basically, there are two types of constants: numeric and character. Numeric are integer, different types: integer and fractional. Integer are nothing but a single digit number like 0, 1, 2 till 9. Fractional are nothing but which has a numerator and denominator like 1.9, 1.99, etc. Here you will be not having any floating point value. Here you will have with point type value. Okay, points, floating point type value. And character, as I said, there is a single character and there is a string. Okay, single character are nothing but single quotation or a single alphabet which is written in a single quotation, and strings in double quotations.